Right now at noon, why health experts are expressing concerns over the Department of Health and Human Services decision to recommend fewer vaccines for most American children. Plus, President Trump praises the raid to capture Venezuela's leader, while congressional leaders are asking about the country's future. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Sprider. Right now, 2 people are dead after a house fire this morning in Lafayette County. Fire crews were sent to Dunbarton Road in the town of Schulzburg just after 1:30. A Lafayette County deputy got to the scene first, but could not enter the home due to the heavy fire and smoke. After firefighters put out the flames, they found 2 people dead inside. So far, those victims have not been identified. No word yet on the cause of the fire. A man accused of stalking Wisconsin Supreme Court Chief Justice Jill Karofsky will avoid jail time. Ryan Thornton pled guilty Monday to intimidating a victim and disorderly conduct. Both charges are misdemeanors. A felony stalking charge was dismissed. Judge Ann Peacock sentenced Thornton to a year in jail. However, that sentence was stayed. Thornton will instead serve 4 years of probation. As a condition of this probation, Thornton is barred from contacting Karofsky and is banned from Dane County unless he receives approval from his probation agent. 2 brothers accused in homicides dating back a decade have pleaded not guilty. Justin Charlo is accused of shooting and killing a 29-year-old man on Madison's west side in 2017. His brother Jordan is also charged for that shooting and 2 others. Justin will be in court on January 28th, and Jordan is set to be in court on February 19th. U.S. health officials are changing their guidance on vaccines, saying children need fewer from birth. They're now recommending 11 shots instead of 17. The CDC has stopped broadly recommending vaccines for flu, rotavirus, hepatitis A and B, some meningitis strains, and RSV. Instead, these vaccines are now advised only for high-risk patients. Health leaders claim the change aligns America with other developed countries like Denmark. They emphasize that all these vaccines remain available after consulting your doctor.
Very often, we don't even realize someone is high risk until they develop a severe infection that can lead to hospitalization and death.
At the state level, health officials are responding. They say, quote, "We have not yet seen new scientific evidence that would justify changes to long-standing recommendations that have and continue to protect the health of children in the United States. We will continue to assess the changes to the recommended childhood vaccination schedule made by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, as well as recommendations from other trusted medical and public health agencies, and will communicate any impact these changes may have on Wisconsinites in the coming days," end quote. Now, first check of your first warn forecast. Here's meteorologist Savannah Brito. Active Tuesday out there, Savannah.
It sure has been, Josh. Thank you. The good news is the winter weather advisory we had for the Dells areas north did expire, but there have been a couple areas up towards Watoma and the northeast of that area that saw that get extended. So that's now in effect until 3 p.m. There's still a few slick spots up towards Wisconsin Dells, so if you're traveling that way, take it easy, allow a little bit of extra time. Because around Watoma and north of the Dells, we're still seeing that transition from the rain over back to sleet as temperatures hover a little bit closer to freezing level up there. We're really just seeing some showers near the Dells and then getting into far northwestern Dane County, northwest of the city of Madison currently. But yeah, all of that purple, that sleet, we had that for a good stretch this morning. And then we did have some freezing rain, light snow, and rain too. Pretty heavy rain across the Madison area earlier this morning. Now at this point, the lunchtime hour, we just have some light showers up west of Waunakee and northwest of Madison. It is not reaching the city yet, but other than this, that's pretty much the big thing we're going to see today through the rest of the afternoon, expecting these showers to continue moving southeast and then getting out of here pretty quickly. Our other eyes and attention, Josh, on Saturday with the alert day. We'll have details on that coming up.
All right, Savannah, we'll see you later in the broadcast. Thank you. Good. Members of Congress are getting a briefing from the White House on the situation in Venezuela, but Democrats say they still have questions. This comes as the Trump administration pushes oil companies to invest in the country. Aaron Navarro reports from the White House.
Speaking to House Republicans at the Kennedy Center Tuesday morning, President Trump praised the raid to capture Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro.
It was so complex, 152 airplanes, many. Talk about boots on the ground. We had a lot of boots on the ground. But it was amazing. And think of it, nobody was killed.
Trump administration officials briefed House and Senate leaders on the operation Monday afternoon.
I'm not concerned about anything.
But some lawmakers were concerned, especially about the administration's plans for Venezuela's future.
Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying.
President Trump says oil companies will have to spend what he calls a tremendous amount of money to rebuild Venezuela and will then be reimbursed either by the U.S. or through oil revenue. White House officials are set to meet with oil executives later this week.
They've got a resource that's the size of the richest countries in the world in the Middle East. This could be the biggest prosperity story ever.
Republican leaders say the U.S. military will not be stepping foot onto Venezuela.
We don't expect troops on the ground. We don't expect direct involvement in any other way.
But since the Venezuela raid, administration officials have been ramping up talk about takeover of another territory.
Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Denmark governs Greenland, and its prime minister said Trump's threats should be taken seriously, adding that an attack on one NATO country by a NATO member would mean the end of the alliance. Aaron Navarro, CBS News, the White House.
Trump administration officials are scheduled to brief all senators tomorrow on the Venezuela attack. Well, today marks 5 years since the deadly January 6th insurrection in Washington, D.C. On January 6, 2021, Trump supporters stormed the Capitol trying to stop lawmakers from certifying Joe Biden's victory. They attacked officers and destroyed parts of the building. More than 140 responding police officers were injured in the fighting. One died the next day of a stroke, 4 more later on by apparent suicide. President Trump was federally indicted on charges related to the riots, but the case was dropped after he won the 2024 election. He pardoned over 1,000 people who were criminally charged. Coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, Starbucks releases its latest menu for the new year. Plus, the Consumer Electronics Show officially begins in Las Vegas, what some companies are already unveiling.
On Thursday, representatives from major U.S. petroleum companies, including Chevron, ConocoPhillips, and ExxonMobil, are expected to meet with Trump administration energy officials, 2 sources confirmed to CBS News. It comes as President Trump is pushing the energy industry to invest heavily in Venezuela, following the U.S. capture of its former president, Nicolas Maduro. Oil company stocks spiked Monday. Chevron, the only U.S. oil company operating in Venezuela, saw a 5% jump. ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips both added more than 2%. Today, the Consumer Electronics Show officially begins in Las Vegas, but some companies have already unveiled their innovations. Lego gave a peek at its new interface with smart bricks, tags, and figures meant for interactive play. Hyundai-owned Boston Dynamics and LG showed off their latest humanoid robots. NVIDIA also brought out its new tiny robots, as its CEO played up the company's next-generation chips and announced that its AI technology is taking on autonomous driving systems. And starting today, Starbucks has released its latest menu items for the new year, featuring caramel protein and Dubai chocolate-flavored drinks. The coffee chain is also bringing back its popular pistachio-flavored beverages. New food items include a Valentine cake pop. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the current stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow's up 426 points, NASDAQ up 103, and the S&P 500 up this hour 33. Our Call for Action volunteers are in the building today, taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. Pam has today's farm numbers next, and Savannah is tracking the first warn forecast. Then later on Live at 4, new developments on the situation in Venezuela, how its president is facing the American court system. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report on a Tuesday afternoon. Hi, Pam.
My goodness, don't even need a jacket to be outdoors on this kind of a crazy January day. I love it, and I'm worried all the same. We're not so worried about what's going on down at the state capitol. The process is underway, a little frenetic with the tight schedule that state legislators are looking at for a couple different ag-related items. First of all, you've been talking about it on News 3, wedding barns. What is the future of wedding barns? Right now, they're trying to work on a kind of a go-around that would allow some of these wedding barn venues to continue continue to move forward when it comes to what's going on with the policy. I believe it was Bill 73 that would curtail some of that wedding barn activity based on liquor licensing. So we're working and watching that. Wisconsin Senator Pat Testin is working on a safe haven bill to try to make sure that our Wisconsin hemp industry is going to be able to go forward. That literally could go away in its entirety. I'm talking about the farmers, the processors, any of the manufacturers by the end of 2026 because of language included in the big, beautiful bill. Senator Testin trying to find a way to try to make that safe haven opportunity available for Wisconsin hemp producers as well as our processors. So keeping an eye on the state capitol. That's part of the reason why Wisconsin farmers and agribusinesses are active at the state capitol. Two different events that are coming up. One, as soon as next week, Wisconsin Farmers Union inviting some of their members and anybody interested to join them for the Ag and Rural Lobby Day. You saw the graph earlier. That's going to be held next week, Wednesday, or actually, nope, go back to the next week, Wednesday, January 14th. It's going to be at the Madison Public Library. They are also going to be holding kind of a coach-up session the day before on the issues important to what's going on in agriculture. So Wisconsin Farmers Union next week with their Ag and Rural Lobby Day. And you can find more at WisconsinFarmersUnion.com. Then the following week, all of our commodity groups, all of our farm organizations back to Madison. They're going to be meeting at Monona Terrace for the annual Ag Day at the Capitol. They'll hear from some of our policy leaders from the state capitol. And then once the event concludes and when everybody's got their notes, they'll head up to visit one-on-one with their elected officials. So like I said, a lot of things happening down at the state capitol, and Wisconsin farmers and agribusinesses need to make sure their voices have been heard. Wisconsin Senator Pat Testin told me they admit they are not experts in most anything that they're dealing with. They need to hear from their constituents. Wisconsin farmers need to stay engaged. Pretty quiet today as far as the markets are concerned, at least as far as dairy. Dairy's been the only commodity that has not managed to find a little bit of footing and rally. Today, barrel cheese unchanged, 40-pound block cheese unchanged. The AA butter on a Tuesday, up a penny, 135.5. More action there, though, Josh. I see that we had 13 trades, 17 bids. I know it doesn't sound like big numbers, but when you're trading butter, that's a pretty good day.
That's good. We'd love to hear that day. And yeah, you're talking about the weather earlier. I had my windshield wipers on high coming to News 3 Now this morning. It felt more like March or April out there today. It's just wild for January.
I know. It's the Wisconsin in me. We're going to feel the shoe drop sometime.
Absolutely. We know it's coming. All right, Pam Yaki, have a great afternoon. Yep. Thank you. Time now for your certified most accurate forecast in Madison with First 4 meteorologist Savannah Brito. Hi, Savannah.
Hi, Josh. Good afternoon. We are tracking a few changes, still precipitation on the radar, which I'll show in a second. But here's the change that we saw a little bit ago. Winter weather advisory, not really across southern Wisconsin. You can see none of our counties are shaded that purplish blue, but up near Watoma across central Wisconsin, this did once again for the third time get extended because those areas are still seeing that mixed precipitation. You see a lot of purple across those places. Not seeing much slick spots reported according to Wisconsin Department of Transportation at this point this afternoon, but even the rain that we had really heavy rain this morning across Dane County that still made for slick spots, and we still could have that up north of Madison this afternoon, and especially if you're traveling up towards Watoma in those areas that are still dealing with that sleet, just take it easy. But yeah, we do still have a somewhat active radar with the second band that's moving into areas near the Dells, Camp Douglas, and Black River Falls. That was expected. That is still going to probably reach the city of Madison. We do have one stray shower right now just to the north of the city, and that's eventually going to continue moving slowly southeast. By the evening, we'll be done, but you can expect a fairly active radar, especially north of Madison, for the next couple of hours. So this is about 2 p.m. All of that rain moving slowly to the southeast. This ends at about 6, and you can still see a little bit of blue and pink, light snow and freezing rain. That'll be the case if you're headed north of Madison through the late afternoon, early evening, and then we're drying out. Tomorrow actually looks like a really, really nice day. Madison's down to 1 mile. We also have that pretty dense of fog not getting out of here. That's expected to last the rest of the day in through the overnight hours. Janesville down to 2. Monroe is actually dealing with one of the lowest visibilities this afternoon. They're down to just 3/4 of a mile. Watertown and Juneau both under 2 as well. Temperatures have warmed up. This was also expected, us near about 40 degrees. A lot of us are in the upper 30s, including us in Madison, 37. That's kind of the magic number across Lone Rock. Winnock, Boscobel, Prairie du Chien, Janesville, and Monroe. A little bit warmer than that in Platteville. All the greens that you see south of Wisconsin across northern Illinois, that's where the warmer temperatures are this afternoon. But those areas still dealing with that mix. Wautoma, Black River Falls, and Camp Douglas still closer to freezing level. They have risen above that, but those areas this morning did struggle to get out of the upper 20s and lower 30s. That was a live look outside of Platteville. Very foggy. Still expecting us to hover in the mid to upper 30s the rest of the afternoon and even evening. Temperatures are not going to fall off that much overnight. We're actually going to still be near 30, but I do think temps will get below freezing level. Then after this system moves out this evening, our eyes are on the next system that arrives Thursday. That's going to start as rain. Temperatures are still going to be warm. That transitions to a rain snow mix Friday, and then Saturday is our alert day that we went with. We're expecting alert day conditions everywhere for Saturday and Saturday night. The accumulating snow, the potential is there and growing for a 3+ inch snow, and I do think we'll have some pretty slick conditions. So this is tomorrow, expecting not a lot of cloud cover, plenty of sunshine, really nice day with highs that get in the lower to mid 40s, and then the rain slowly moves in. We are expecting some fairly heavy rain at times. This is Thursday at 7 p.m. Eventually into Friday, as temperatures start to fall, we'll see that transition. This is going to come in 2 waves. That was the first wave. This is the second wave and what is prompting our alert day. Saturday, 8 in the morning, and then through much of the day, we'll be dealing with that purple. That is actually going to be snow. So pretty much everything that comes Saturday will come in the form of snow, and then we fall down to 28 Sunday. But there's still no negatives on the 10-day, so there's some positive news.
Oh, 40s. I have a feeling I'm going to see a lot of Wisconsinites with shorts on tomorrow out and about.
I'll go for a walk. I'll get out and about at some point tomorrow.
Got to take in that sunshine for sure.
Yes, take advantage.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Up next, Angie Edge from Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin returns. After the break, she'll show us a Wisconsin cheese recipe perfect for the new year. Well, it is the new year, and Angie Edge returns for us. Happy New Year, Angie.
Happy New Year.
So we're always talking about Wisconsin cheese, and you've got us covered with the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin. We're starting off with a nice salad for the new year.
So new year, new resolutions, new cheeses. So we thought we'd start with a healthy recipe, right?
But you can still incorporate cheese into anything.
Cheese has so much protein for you. It's a really healthy food to get those nutrients that you need. And today we're pairing it with some great vegetables as well.
Love it.
So we have about 10 cups of chopped kale and then a chopped Bibb lettuce. That gives this salad a nice base layer. So kale has a lot of great nutritional benefits as well. And then we have 1 cup of half seedless grapes. Give it a little bit of different texture, a little bit of different color. And then for a crunch, we also have some candied walnuts.
Yum.
So those look delicious as well. And then we also have 3 sliced green onions, so that also gives it a lot of great flavor. And you're probably wondering, the star of the show
of course
is the Baby Swiss, made in Monroe, Wisconsin by the Chalet Cheese Factory. You notice this is shaved Swiss cheese. It has those little holes in it.
Yep.
And so that means there's little carbon dioxide air bubbles that form in the cheese during the milk fermentation process that give it those tiny holes.
I've always wondered, yes.
So you're going to layer on this wonderful Chalet Baby Swiss cheese. And then we also have a homemade vinaigrette that also has real Wisconsin butter, a little bit of olive oil, and some apple cider vinegar that you can just lightly drizzle on top of the salad. So just kind of a fun and refreshing salad that supports Wisconsin's dairy industry.
I love that. Swiss is unique. A couple different options that you have too.
Yeah, so this is actually the Baby Swiss made by Chalet Cheese Factory. It's one of their flagship cheeses. Baby Swiss is traditionally made with whole milk, whereas a traditional Swiss is made with a part skim. So that means it's creamier, it's a little bit younger. It almost melts in your mouth. It's so delicious. People love to melt Swiss in different fondues, different burgers. But the Chalet Baby Swiss is one that's won so many awards at the U.S. and the World Cheese Championship contest. And actually, the Chalet Co-op is one of the oldest farmer co-ops in America.
Oh, that's cool.
It was founded back in 1885.
Wow.
So that's pretty exciting. And being that it's a farmer co-op, the farmers own it directly. So that's their local milk, and that means you're supporting Wisconsin dairy farmers.
Which is what it's all about,
yeah,
right?
That's what it's all about. So you know it's farm fresh, it's made directly from the farm. You probably have heard of Chalet before because they're known as the only Limburger factory in America as well. So you can visit their factory direct if you want to buy the cheese there. They also have a great little cheese shop in New Glarus too, or you can find it at a lot of the local grocery stores.
That's what's so awesome is we have the availability of all this right here.
Less than an hour away. So you can get farm fresh cheeses support your local farmers. And if you visit our website, the WisconsinCheese.com, you can find our online magazine, The Great Pear Share, that has some of these holiday entertaining recipes, as long as more recipes and information about our wonderful cheesemakers.
You just always have to look for that proudly
Yes,
Wisconsin
yes,
cheese
exactly.
branding. Awesome.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year, Angie.
Yeah.
As always, thank you so
Thank you.
much. We appreciate it. Here's Savannah with a final check of your forecast.
Thanks, Josh. We're still tracking a little bit of rain north of Madison. Temperatures very mild. We're at 37 currently in Madison. Still expecting another degree or two, close to 40. So it'll be a mild day. Really nice tomorrow. Sunshine with highs that get into the lower to even mid 40s. And then we've got an active end of the week heading into this upcoming weekend. Alert day Saturday for snow, Josh.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Thanks for watching News 3 Now. Noon, we're back live at 4, and we're always on at channel3000.com.